Conventional, reliable, traditional. It's been decades since any major change to the funeral industry's end-of-life offerings. It's either been burial or flame cremation for the better part of a century, but now New Zealanders have another new option when they die: water cremation.
I had never heard of it before, and I was surprised at how adamant Mum was to have a water cremation.
Siobhan's mother, Margaret, was the first person in New Zealand to use water cremation.
It was part of sealing the deal for her because she always liked to be the first. And I think the sustainability aspect was certainly a factor too. It made a lot of sense to her. And it probably felt like a gentler way to go than, the traditional cremation.
Fulfilling Margaret Coleman's final wish was in the end a straightforward process. But getting permission to use water cremation and to import the equipment needed has taken years of planning, consent discussions and approvals. The first resumator arriving in the country within a few weeks of her death.
Water cremation to me made sense. We come from a womb which has got water in it. We go, our bodies are made of water, so it felt more natural than fire.
People are really concerned about the environment and caring for it, and if this is the last thing they do, this is what they really seem to be wanting. So it is obviously going to be a very popular option for people going forward.
The early driving force behind the introduction of water cremation has been the passion and the determination of one woman, Debbie Richards.
That's the tanks, that's the drying oven, and that's the resumator there. I want to bring another option for people so that they can have less impact on the environment. Choose something that emits way less carbon. I want people to have the choice of water cremation so that they can leave less of a footprint behind when they die.
Chatting to her, she seemed very enthusiastic about it, and very, very passionate. So that enthusiasm kind of captivated me, and I started Googling it, learning as much as I could about it. I guess the decisive moment was when I went over to a couple of facilities in Minnesota to have a look at their facilities in action. And that was the point when I decided we should be doing this. It's so much better for the environment. It's a nicer process than, I consider it to be a nicer process than flame. And it's something we should have been looking at doing a long time ago.
And so, after researching the technology overseas, Debbie and Andrew decided to join forces and share resources, forming the company Water Cremation Aotearoa, New Zealand.
So shiny and new.
It is so shiny, and it's our very own one. We've been looking at other people's resumators for quite a while now, and it looks beautiful. Water cremation is so much more environmentally friendly than other options. There's no carbon emission from the process itself, and any carbon that comes from the process is in the embedded carbon on the production of the machine and bringing it here. So it's all about carbon emission. It's so much less. It's 6 times less carbon emission than a flame cremation. If a body emits 180 to 240 kilograms of carbon in a flame cremation, then there is no carbon emission from this process itself.
There's 240 kilograms of carbon that results from one flame cremation. There's about 38,000 deaths in New Zealand per year. Roughly 30,000 of those would be cremation. So if you times 30,000 by 240 kilograms, that's over 7 million kilograms of carbon that's going into the atmosphere from the old flame cremation process. That's something that we can make a dent into.
With the first water cremation already booked, the new equipment, including a resumator or the main chamber, and the controls and associated tanks and systems, need to be carefully installed and commissioned as soon as possible.
I reckon we'd be good to go in 4 weeks.
We will move it into the building. It'll come in on some little skates. We'll place it inside the recimation room. That's the recimator. The tank system will be placed in another room. Then they will be all hooked up. The steam generator, the tank system.
They're very good, aren't they? I mean,
The clearance is just millimetres in places, but on paper at least, it all should fit.
Rightio, the tricky bit is you try to get it in on the timber and back around that cutout corner,
90 degrees.
90 degrees, and then another 90 around the next corner.
It's a day when years of planning and many hundreds of thousands of dollars are poised, and if you like, hanging in the balance.
That's been a long time. It's been a really long time. And it's just like seeing something come to fruition. It's like a dream coming true. It finally happened. So it was an emotional day for me to finally see it coming in and being unloaded from the lorry and being brought in to the building. Amazing day.
Funeral homes aren't really something that change a lot. The last technological change in disposition was 1909 when flame cremation came in. Before that, the most major change was 1892 when we, Bell Lemon Trotter, introduced embalming. So there's not a lot of change that happens, and we're excited to be a part of something new.
Water cremation, or alkaline hydrolysis, involves placing the body in an alkaline solution and using steam pressure and heat to accelerate a reductive chemical process, reducing the body to its basic components.
So we place the shrouded body, either shrouded in wool. We've got some beautiful New Zealand wool from a place called Wise Wool up in Gisborne. So we wrap the body in wool or silk and place inside the recimator here, inside the chamber. And the chamber is filled with 95% water and an alkaline solution, potassium hydroxide or lye. And over 3 to 4 hours, the body is reduced to its basic building blocks, amino acids, sugars, soap. And at the end of that process, that 3 to 4 hours, we pull the tray out and the bones are left behind, which are then put in the cremulator and given back to the family as white bone ash. And it's about 30% more than you would get of flame cremated ashes because it preserves so much more of the bone. So the families get their loved ones' ash back. It also generates a liquid which is sterile and doesn't contain any DNA. It is part of the body's basic building blocks in the water, and that is returned to the water cycle via the water treatment.
The resumation equipment being installed is designed and manufactured in the UK, but the process being used is actually based on pioneering work carried out in the United States by this man, Dean Fisher.
We're just gently moving water and potassium, the same potassium that's in the ground at 2.5%, we're adding 5%. So what happens with natural decomposition, we're accelerating into 4 to 5 hours instead of taking months or years.
It's good science with proven outcomes that Dean now promotes to the funeral industry.
An autoclave is what cleans instruments in a hospital, and a doctor and a dentist, when they're operating on you, they go to 250 degrees for 20 minutes and those instruments are sterile. We're going to 300 degrees for a minimum of 60 minutes. So we're destroying pathogens at 60,000 times greater than what's going on, in a doctor or a dentist. So from a sterility standpoint, or a pathogen standpoint, it is, there's nothing to worry about here.
Early June 2025, and the first water cremation facility is formally opened in New Zealand.
I'm so happy to be sharing this day with you, this opening ceremony with you. I've been working on this for about 7 years now.
Let us pray. Gracious God, Te Atua Atawhai, who presides over our lives and our deaths, thank you for this new means of cremating the bodies of our loved ones. Thank you for this form of cremation which respects the dignity of our loved ones and the needs of our planet. We ask your blessing on those who work here, who enable death to be approached by those who grieve the loss of their loved ones with dignity and peace.